What's up? I'm the Empathetic Chicken. Back to do a collective reading. I'm just gonna do like a little check-in, see where the energy's at. Like 3 cards. I don't have a spread, but we're gonna see what comes out. Alright then. So we got trust. A new romantic cycle begins. This thing want to come out again. Came out in the last reading. We got like perfect timing with prosperity lies ahead at the bottom. And then it's time to release negativity. I'm gonna take that one too, because I feel like, oh, we got recovery too. Like, yeah. Then that dang don't let pride get in your way too. That one came out in the last one. Alright, I gotta stop. Anywho. Yeah. So I'm feeling like I mean, if you watch my last reading, you probably know, like, we've been struggling. Like, so it might be time, like, we might be going through like a little recovery period where we're like purging out all this like negativity. Like, we might be feeling, or might have been feeling like kind of triggered lately, like all the stuff like resurfacing, that we need to feel it, like feel and heal it, you know, that kind of thing. Because like, it's all part of like something new that's coming in, you know. We gotta prepare ourselves for it. But the timing's gotta be right. Like, we can't be holding on to all this freaking, this old energy that doesn't serve us, you know. Like, I know for me, like, worst case scenarios, like just judging, like I was writing in my journal this morning, like, not to get too like personal, but like I was writing in my journal about how like I tried to like apply old perspectives onto new situations, which like is only gonna lead to like disappointment, because like if I've only known like a certain outcome, then I'm gonna be judging like every other experience by that outcome. Like, does that make sense? Like, because the brain's trying to like make sense of things, and like it doesn't know how to make sense of like what hasn't happened yet. So like we try to use like what we know from experience to like fill in the blanks, because I mean, it's just human nature. We want to like understand things. So like I feel like maybe something, like we're having a hard time like trusting that something could work out like differently than it has in our past, just because like we're so used to like a certain way things have been. Like, maybe we had like a hurtful past and we're just holding on to all that hurt, when like it's time to like recover. Like, we gotta be willing to like let all that junk go. I mean, feel it, obviously. Ooh. Sorry. Feel it, obviously, and like don't, like, I'm not saying don't feel what you're feeling, or like don't feel the hurt from like stuff that hurts, you know. Like, it's just like, I mean, it's human nature to feel and experience pain or whatever. But like, I feel like we try to like cling to it a lot longer than we should, and like use painful experiences to define ourselves when we don't have to. So yeah, I think it might seem like you're in a spot where like nothing is working out and like things will never get better, but it's because like there's a timing to it. Like, you have to have time to like release whatever like apprehensions you might be having about like whatever's coming, because otherwise you might like not fully appreciate it. Does that make sense? Because you're like understanding it from like a limited viewpoint. Like, I hope I'm explaining this right. But yeah, there's just like a balance that needs to come in, and it involves like, I guess, like a purging of like these little negative emotions. I don't really like calling stuff negative and positive, because I mean, I just think it's all just like part of the process, and like the judgments that we attach to things like make them positive or negative, but like, you know what I'm saying. Please don't come over here. Maybe he's not looking. It's fine. My little anxiety's kicking in again. It's fine. So yeah, and then that's another like insight that I'm having lately, like in my own life, is like if I'm going through like a rough patch, then it means that like things are gonna like level out eventually. Like it might feel really horrible in the moment, but like I just can't get too attached to that feeling and just think that it's gonna like go on forever, because like it's not. Like change is like the only constant, and even though things feel like really heavy sometimes and like we feel stuck, we gotta trust that like, you know, things are moving, like even if we don't understand like how or when, like it's all like part of like the little universe's timing, you know, if you believe that. Which I mean, even just from like, if you're not like that into like, I mean, if you're watching this reading, you're probably into this stuff, but like from like just more of a, I guess like sciencey, like nature standpoint, like if you just think of like the cycles of life and like the earth and the seasons and stuff, like everything has its like timing, you know, to like bloom and die, and it's just like all this intricate thing that we just don't understand how it works, but it works. So like I just try to compare like my life to that, and I don't always like remember it. Like that's the thing, like you can understand these concepts, but like actually applying them, like when it means the most, like when you're in like the depths of like the feelings and stuff, like it's harder. It's easier said than done. I'm not like denying that, but from like the higher viewpoint, like there is like, I guess like a time for certain things to take place. So I mean, perfect timing. It might not be time yet for whatever like you're hoping is coming into being, or whatever this little new cycle is. It's coming, but it just might need a little bit more time to like for you to be prepared. So yeah, I'm gonna just stop rambling, and I'm gonna pull from the Starseed Oracle to like just clarify, get a little extra something. I know, like me personally, I'm already like a lot calmer than I was in the last reading, so like that's just evidence that like things do level out. Like the little storm passes eventually. So with this trust card, we've got star bathing, and it says light body crystal grid transmission activation. So I'm just focusing on like these little beams of light that are happening in this, and then like in this card, you got like a little beam right there with the, I was about to call him Jesus. It looked like Jesus in it, don't it? It might be, yeah, but like I almost feel like this is about like, I guess like the preparation of like this new cycle to start. Like the trust, developing that trust is like necessary in order for like to bring it in. Does that make sense? So with this being with the trust card and like the whole little activation keyword right there, I'm feeling like this experience that we're going through is sort of like an activation of like, I don't want to say like our faith, but like I don't want to get like too, I feel like faith is a very like religious sounding word, but like I'm not going, like faith is like whatever you make it or whatever, like however you define it, like, but I mean whatever you believe in, it's fine. Like, it doesn't have to be like a Jesus figure or whatever, like in this card. like whatever higher power or whatever, if you believe in that. Like, it's this, I feel like these experiences, like the painful ones, can like be like an activation to like develop that faith in whatever you believe in. Like maybe it is just like the earth, like, you know, the cycles of the earth, like trust in the process of things, like, if that makes sense. Because when you just accept that like things have a natural way, like a flow, like, I don't know, personally I'm into like Taoism, so like I like the whole concept of like Wu Wei and like the flow, and you know, just the undescribable thing that is like nature and us and all that. I don't know how to explain it, whatever, but you know what I'm saying. Just, I feel like we're in a place of like having an opportunity to place our trust in like the process of things. Like, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I feel like I'm rambling. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm trying to explain it, but it is what it is. So moving on. And then when we got with the new moon in Libra, a new romantic cycle, we got forge, don't follow. And it says, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. So I'm just getting that, like, maybe the situation that we're in is like calling for a lot of like trust, because it doesn't look like the norm or whatever. And I mean, normal is just like whatever we decide, like collectively or whatever. It's not like the right way to be or anything. It's just like a mass consensus of like what's acceptable, pretty much. But you know what I'm saying, like that still affects, like, just because you know that something's like only an illusion, that doesn't make it like not affect you, you know what I mean? Like, it still has consequences. So like, I feel like we might be in a situation where we are needing to trust that things are like working out, even if they don't seem that way. Does that make sense? And we might be called to like stand up for our like beliefs and do things the way we feel led to do them, like even if it goes against the grain. And maybe that is like this new cycle that's coming in, like where it's more balanced, where like we're not relying on like what everybody else thinks is acceptable or what we should have or want, you know. We're just like going off of what we feel like, and it's okay to follow like your own path, even if like no one else has done it before, or it doesn't look like anyone's done. Somebody's probably done everything like at this point, but like, you know, even if you don't have any like examples, but you still feel like called to do something, like that shouldn't stop you from like pursuing it, you know. Like, make your own way, you know, follow your own map. Don't worry about looking stupid or like, you know, don't worry about it. Because I mean, in the end, like, the balance of things exists, and like you might be here to put a balance to like the whole concept of normality. Like, maybe you're gonna be the new normal, like, you know, maybe it's time for a little shift and to like do things a little differently, and you might be the person to do it. So like, yeah, that's what I'm getting here. So be the leader. It said, be the leader you wish you had, and pave a new path. And there's another butterfly. Oh my god. And perfect timing. We got, with that one, we got Star Family. And it says, you're part of a team of souls, call in support. So yeah, you might be part of like a bunch of other souls that have come here to like bring out the little change. So you're not alone in being different. So just remember that, and like by showing up and doing things like your way, I guess. I mean, that sounds like my way or the highway. Not like that. I'm saying like just doing things in a unique way that's not like the norm. can be like a beacon for like the other weirdos out there. Like, and be like, hey, it's okay to do things this way. You're not crazy. Like, it's alright. Like, you know, being guided for a reason. Yeah, but it's perfect timing. I'm also feeling like maybe we're like holding out to meet like our little star family or whatever, like our people like us, and maybe we're feeling like it's never gonna happen. Like, we're just like feeling lonely over here, following our little path, like just wondering, like, am I crazy? Like, what's going on? Where are the other people who think like me and want to do things the way I want to do them and the way I see them? So I feel like by paving your own little path, you're calling in your little people. Like, they'll find you. But it's just like the timing has to be right. Like, you have to be like brave enough to like send out the energy, like, of, you know, just call them in. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's part of that like balance thing. I don't know if this is getting like too meta or whatever, but like there has to be like a void in order for it to be filled. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, we have to go through like the little loneliness, like the lonely period, to like experience the fullness later of like finding our people. You get what I'm saying? So there's a time for it. It's coming. It's just we had to like prepare ourselves to receive it, if that makes sense, and like fully like receive ourselves, like, because that's one thing I'm like working with, is like being all right with who I am, because when I'm okay with who I am, I can let other people like experience me. Does that make sense? Like, in like the purest form, and not like from my wounding, because like I feel like the wounding takes over sometimes and like pushes people away when that's not like who I want to be. So I think all that kind of like the negativity stuff like clouds like your true self. So we got to get rid of all that, and once we do, our little family can like be there to support us, because we'll allow them to, instead of like denying ourselves of the connection and the support. So overall, I feel like we've just been in a little time of like recovery, letting go of things that aren't for us anymore, like old stories that we tell ourselves, and old ways of like interacting with people, and old things that we don't need anymore, that we can't take them with us. Like, we gotta, the scales are turning. Like, it's time for more balance. Like, we've been more in one way, it's time to be in the opposite. Like, just the way of life. Excuse me. But I just gotta like trust that it's happening the way it's meant to, in the right timing. So yeah, I'm gonna pull just a little card from this to close out this message. So what's the final message here? Like, how can we trust more and prepare ourselves for this little new beginning? Lost lands, soul memories, and gifts. You've done this before. Okay, can you see that? I feel like we got like a lot of sun coming through here. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm sorry, but yeah. So let me find this real quick. Lost lands. Okay. The world is far more ancient than our documented history suggests. As souls, many of us have experienced ancient eras on this planet that were much more advanced than ours today. As we begin to remember these times, the rememberings and gifts can come flooding back. At this stage in Earth's timeline, we need the wisdom of the ancients to survive as a species. You're being called to connect with the lost wisdom of your own soul. If you feel guided to make a change in your life, to step into a new career path, birth a creation, or bring an idea to life, but feel unprepared, this card is calling you to consider that you've done this before. Perhaps your soul has wisdom beyond what your lifespan can imagine. Perhaps the intuitive hits and ideas you're receiving are divinely guided. Perhaps you've been preparing for this time. Some think that the lost lands exist in the past. Sorry, it's a typo or something. Exist in the past. Others believe they exist today in a different dimension. I believe these ancient lands also exist in the souls of those who experience them. If this card comes to you, perhaps the wisdom of lost lands such as Lemuria, Atlantis, and Avalon exists within you, and through surrendering to the intelligence of your soul, you can unlock the seeds of these ancient lands so we can all learn from our mistakes and usher in a new age. Sorry, that anger's still with me. I wanted to say rage. No, I'm fine. Okay. So, I don't know. I guess I feel like if you believe in, like, the past life stuff or whatever, like, that could be the reason why you, like, feel called to, like, a certain path or, like, led to certain people or situations, you know? So just, like, in knowing that, like, you can develop that trust, like, because there's, like, that familiarity and that pull toward whatever you're, like, wanting. So you can take that as, like, a sign to trust it, because, like, there's, like, a sort of knowing that's already there. And then I'm also, like, from a less, like, I guess, like, abstract, like, spiritual approach. Like, I'm just thinking about how, like, things just kind of, like, know what to do. Like, I don't know, like, the things... Ow, freaking horsefly. He knew to bite me. No, I don't know, like, there's certain things that we're just, like, naturally, like, inclined to do, I guess. And it's kind of different for all of us, so, like, whatever your thing is, like, whatever you feel drawn to, like, that's probably, like, your thing. So you should probably do more of that. And, like, trust where it leads you. Because, I mean, you'll probably find, like, your little star family there, like, they probably doing the same thing you doing, you know? They probably forging their little path, too. Looking for their little, fam. So... I feel like that could be part of, like, your little activation as well, like embracing your little gifts and stuff that you're more, like, inclined to. So yeah. I feel like I want to get one more from this one, just because I like that deck, but it goes a little bit like high in the other realms and stuff. But I feel like I like to keep, like, a little grounded approach too, like, sometimes, which, I mean, it depends on how deep you want to go. And give me, like, one last little card of advice for trusting this new beginning and being patient. Dang, big happy changes. Hallelujah. Bring love into the situation. I might have should have just kept going. I just finished it. Confidence is your key to success. I don't know. I feel like there's not really any advice other than to just, like, trust that the changes are happening, and, like, we bring love into the situation. Like, I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Like, love yourself, and then, like, you know, it'll radiate. Like, the inner will be outer, and everything will be balanced. And yeah, a little confidence, just like believing yourself and like your worth, and know that you deserve the little big happy changes, you know? You deserve these things. Like maybe you just couldn't see it in the past, but that's all right. You don't gotta think like that anymore. Like, you're cool, all right? So yeah, that's what I got. I'm gonna just call it there because it's pretty long. But I hope you're having a good day, and I hope that was helpful. And I'll be back. If you are interested in a personal reading, I got those in a little description, and I have my decks for sale also on my little website, so you can check that out. And I'll put the little like names of these down there if you want to get those too. But yeah, we back. See you.